Okay, let's share this. So you can see my picture, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have now officially arrived. Oops. We have officially arrived into the Xin Yu Yin Metal Rooster Month, September 2023. What is the theme for this month? A couple of themes are going to be going through. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I am, says the Xin Yu metal rooster. It is a deadly combination of brains and beauty and focus. So let's see what the Xin Yu Yin Metal Rooster has in store for all of us this month. So a little bit about me. For those of you, excuse me. Oh, she can't. Why can't she? I don't know why she can't click that link. Sorry. I don't know. Okay. My name is Melanie Norman. I'm a Chinese metaphysics consultant. I consult, I teach, and I write about classical feng shui, Bazi, date selection, TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, which is basically, I have focused over 35 years on traditional Chinese dietary therapy, food healing, and combining food healing and traditional Chinese dietary therapy with Bazi now and classical feng shui. I have also been studying, I do many studies, and another study that I have also included, I have been studying law for the past, say, 10, 12 years. So I welcome all of you, wherever you are in the world, and I welcome those who are joining and listening later because people were thinking that I was doing live on my Facebook page. So people are on my Facebook page and for some reason not finding the link on Zoom. So I'm trying something a little different. So these are the images that the Yin Metal Rooster, that I always like to put the images up of what it means. Okay. I'm going to show you, we have a pure pillar of yin metal. So that's yin metal in the heavenly stem and yin metal in the earthly branch. As you notice, it is yin metal is associated with the fine jewelry with precious metals. In fact, one of the quickest ways to get to a Xin Yin metal day master is to notice them. They always like to be noticed. Not look how great here I am, although that's the Xin Yin metal rooster, the day pillar, but just in general, just acknowledge them for what they do. That's the quickest way to get into the good graces of a Xin Yin metal day master. So it's precious jewelry. It's the scissors that cut. It's like I was also going to put up some pictures of an acupuncture needle or it's like the knife that the surgeon uses that needs absolute precision. So it is about precision. So we have now left the Yang Metal Monkey Month. And we have left that actually this morning, I think around 6:38 this morning. So wherever you are in the world, for Asia, Australia, the Yin Metal Rooster Month is already fully in. And somebody asked me a question actually the other day, which I thought was a very good question. So does the Yang Metal Monkey Month just stop when it says, was it September 8th at 6:38 a.m. and the Yin Metal Rooster arrived? I said, no, she is not like that. Qi flows. So the Qi is gradually, so we're still in the energies of the Yang Metal Monkey Month. In fact, when I was writing my post last night, and I posted that the day was a Yin Metal Rooster Day, actually, it was still, when I was writing my post, it was still, Yin Metal Rooster Month. It was still the Yang Metal Monkey Month. Okay, because the day comes in on the rat hour. Now here, let's see, I think I have learned this one. Oh, the laser, okay? So you see this here, and as I go through my presentation, I'm going to be using, I have some pictures from AI, from artificial intelligence, and I did that on purpose because this is bringing in the energy of the next 20 years, which is the lead trigram and period of fire. So this actually right here, okay, this is an AI picture. So let's see if you can guess as I go through my presentation which pictures are AI. But again, this is about, it's the scissors cutting. It can be very cutting. So we've left now the axe. So the Yang Metal Monkey Month was an axe, and it was a pure pillar of Yang metal. So it was a very tough energy. So we're leaving that Yang metal, we're going into Yin metal, so it's a different energy. So we're going from the axe chopping the wood into the scissors cutting the vine. Okay, so let's look at the hexagram. What is the hexagram for this month? It is number 62. It is lesser exceeding. It is a thunder trigram over the mountain trigram. The thunder is signaling danger and the mountain is cautioning stillness. So ambitious undertakings are not in order this month. And this is very interesting because another thing which you're going to see about the Yin Metal Rooster Month is it's called a year breaker. So what does that mean? It's a year breaker, so it means it clashes the year, and the year is Gui Mao rabbit year, which I'll get to in a minute. So this is quite an appropriate hexagram for a year breaker month. And because we have metal, metal is cutting wood, it's a disruptive energy. It's a year breaker month. Always year breaker months in a year breaker month and in the year are full of challenges and conflict. So ambitious undertakings are not in order, but attention to small matters brings decent progress. That should be decent. Such is the case for a person whose resources are meager, but who through modesty and perseverance eventually rises to accomplish great things. Now, this is one of the key sentences for this month for the hexagram lesser exceeding. Small achievable steps will bring better outcome than taking big risks. So it's very interesting when I read this sentence. Such is a case for a person whose resources are meager, but who through modesty and perseverance eventually rises to accomplish great things. So we can liken a person, say, who doesn't have a lot of income, but they are frugal with their spending, as opposed to a person who has a very high income, but they spend their entire income. So again, it's about being more frugal. So this is the chart for the Yin Metal Rooster Month. Okay, so this is the Bazi chart, the overall energies of that's going to affect everybody. So again, Yin Metal Rooster Month. It started today at 6:38 a.m. And I'm going to be talking just a little bit about the worldview, some auxiliary stars, 10-day masters, the best locations to use at home and office, and auspicious dates. So let's look at here. So when we look at a Bazi chart, the first thing we always look at is this. This is the day master right here, okay? That's the day. It's a Yin Earth Snake Day. That is today. and now in a yin metal rooster month. So what is the wealth element for yin earth? What is the wealth element? It is water. So here's water. Okay. Right, here's another person. Okay. Welcome, all of you. So those of you who are joining. I don't know why she can't. Sorry, another person's trying to get in. So when we look at here's the wealth element. Now, this is here, this is the heavenly stems up here. This is the earthly branches underneath. So we see the wealth element here in the heavenly stems. Do we see any wealth element in the earthly branches? No. No. So it is not going from the heaven to the earth. So it is what we say, it's elusive. It is because water is going to be the least amount, the element that's the lowest. It's the element that there's the least of, that people will be fighting for their money. There will be a lot of people fighting for the same amount of money, so to speak. Let's see, another thing. So the highest element that we have, so we have Zin Yin metal rooster. So this is a pure pillar. When we say a pure pillar, what do we mean? So we have yin metal on top in the heavenly stems, and we have yin metal in the earthly branches. That means it's going from the heaven to the earth. And again, I'm going to be showing you another chart, because this is a very, very unusual year, because we have so many pure pillars. We will not see this for a very long time.
Yeah, but it's the whole chart is yin. It's all yin on the heavenly stems and in the
That's a
branch,
very, very good observation. Now, if you
completely yin.
see a person's chart that has 4 yin pillars, which I have some clients that actually, yes, I know people who have that. So actually, you think at first glance, you think, oh, this person's very yin. Actually, it is the opposite. This person is actually can be quite aggressive, and they will do anything to survive, and they will be
Oh,
aggressive.
so they're the sneaky liars,
Okay.
right? Remember, I had that guy, I had one client, and I think that's what we were looking at, was that he was all yin, and you were like, he's keeping secrets from his wife, he's got a lot of secrets. I think that's what it was all this, he had all yin. It was very unusual.
All right, it also depends, Maurice, what the elements in the chart. So all the elements, okay, we always look at the day master and what all
Yeah,
these elements mean to the day master. But that's a very good observation, because it is again, remember, it looks all yin, but it's aggressive energy. And
right. But
again,
it's secrets. So is it like passive aggressive? It's also secrets, right? Yin is, when you have so much yin, you're not being forthright,
well,
right?
you could look, okay, so the hour pillar, okay, so that's more internal. The year pillar is more external. So this is what you're showing to the world. This is the hidden secrets. This is your internal dreams, goals, desires. Now look at this. So we have the rooster month. And what do we have on the outside and the inside? We have
Wood.
the rabbit. The rabbit's clashing the rooster. So we have this clash between the metal and the wood. So, okay. So, so there's the clash there. So, let's see. So yin, so fire, what does fire represent to yin earth? That is a direct resource. So that will be, people will, resources has to do with health. It also has to, so there could be health issues because the fire is weak in the metal season. We're in the season of metal. And it is also the resource is also about study. It's about how do I say? It's kind of like going to university, studying, as opposed to indirect resources, thinking outside the box. It's more thinking inside the box. Another thing you'll see is the snake and the rooster, they combine, They're combining to make metal. Now, when you see two animals combining to make, they're pulling in a third one, which is the ox. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. So that makes a complete metal trine. So the highest, the energy, which is the strongest, is metal, because we are in let's see, we are in the height of the metal chi, because the monkey month is where the metal chi is growing. The rooster month is where the metal chi is prospering. It's at the height of it. And then the dog month, which is October, is called a graveyard month. And that's where the metal chi is declining. But it is this season of metal. Okay. So let's see here. So this is what I wanted to show you. So here we are. So just let's look at how many pure pillars we've had so far. So we started out in February. That was the Yangwood tiger. So that's Yangwood. That was a pure pillar of Yangwood, because inside the main chi of the tiger is Yangwood. Now let's look at March. We had Yinwood, another pure pillar. Then we go over to May. There was a pure pillar of fire, of yin fire. Even though inside the snake it is yang fire, and that's what we look at, but it was a pure pillar of fire. Now let's jump over to July. This is a pure pillar of yin earth. August, we have another pure pillar of yang metal, which we've just left. Now we're going into a pure pillar of yin metal. Now, so first of all, this is highly unusual. Second of all, why is this so important? Because you get to see how the chi of the month affects you and how it affects your day master, because it's pure, because there's not other elements that are influencing it. So how did the last month go for you? How did Metal Monkey month go for you? Because of the pure pillar of yang metal. So for example, if a person say they have a lot of metal in their chart, and then more metal comes in. So what does metal stand for? Metal stands for truth. Metal stands for justice. Metal stands for the banking industry. Metal stands for governments. Metal is, again, it stands for for that axe. If you have a lot of metal in your chart and the more metal comes in, then it's going to be more the negative side of the metal. Because, so what happens now is now the person's going to become, they're going to become more cold, they're going to become more aggressive, and they're going to become, it's like, especially if there's a lot of earth and metal, it's like, I'm right or I'll kill you. And there are people like this. They will die to be right. Okay, they will. So, yeah. So again, and then they lose that passion, that fire, the kindness, because there's so much metal, and the metal. Oh my God, my brother just drove by. Hi.
That's funny.
That's funny, right?
That's funny.
And speaking about all yin, he's got all yin. So it's very interesting, all yin chart. So there we go. That's funny. Okay. So let's look at there's auxiliary stars. Every animal has auxiliary stars. Let's look at the auxiliary stars for the year. What is the auxiliary star? So the positive auxiliary star, I don't like to go into too much of the negative stars, although I do want to mention that. So the positive star, because if you activate the positive star, the auxiliary stars, then the negative stars don't affect you as much. So it is the month emptiness auxiliary star. So what does this mean? So it means it's time to do precision, tuning to your month. What is your focus? So it's what do you need to focus on? So is it your health? Is it your relationships? Is it financial? Okay, so it's going to give you the ability to focus on, so it's about precision. Remember, I said the metal is about precision, and because it's not yang metal anymore, it's yin metal. It's when I speak about precision, it's like that acupuncture needle that the acupuncturist needs to have when they put it into the meridian, that point that's going to activate the chi. Now, what is the, you have to look at the person's condition. Is it draining dampness? Is it cooling heat? Is it building their blood and a kidney chi? Is it let's see, is it warming the cold? So again, that acupuncturist has to be a good acupuncturist has to be very precise and to know exactly where to put that those acupuncture needles along the correct meridians. And that's exactly the theme for this month. Now, a couple of things that the rooster has, I just put two of them. There's a few more, but one is called the Great Consumer Star. And I put that, now, again, this is affecting everybody, but especially roosters this month and this year. So what that means is unexpected expenses. Unexpected expenses come up. So if you know that this is coming, and that's why it's the beauty of knowing this information, because if you know it's coming, you can prepare for it. It's like we know that period, well, I've been trying to talk as much as possible, more and more about period 9 and the period of fire, the trigram Li, and you see it all over the world, this chi of fire. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And so if you know it's coming, you can prepare. So the Great Consumer Star, again, if you know unexpected expenses are coming, you can save. Okay, Prison Star. I saw that, I'm like, oh my heavens, Prison Star. And I guess especially this would affect the rooster who have the rooster in the year. So does this mean incarceration? It possibly could, it could have to do with the law, but more metaphorically, it means you imprison yourself. You feel like you are, like, how do I say, like you can't, it's like not breaking free. Like it's like you're in prison, you can't find, it's like you're searching for this freedom inside yourself, freedom in the world as well. So it's like a metaphor. Okay. So now, so I put this up here because I'm working on my logo for 2024. And I did this for a couple of reasons. So I'll tell you that this is an AI picture. Isn't that beautiful? I love it.
Yeah, it is beautiful, actually.
It is, right? And
Yeah.
it's
And
very,
it's interesting it used the really deep, deep blue. I find that interesting too.
plus it's also actually, it's a metaphor, or it's indicative of what's coming, which is the wood dragon year coming up on February 4th, 2024. Because the wood dragon, it's yang wood, so it is the colors are green. Yang wood is the tree, and it's also now inside the dragon is yang earth, which is mountains, and the dragon is magical. And again, not only we're having the wood dragon year, which actually, by the way, if anyone who wants to have a child, it is very good to have a baby, they say, in a dragon year. And I just found out my acupuncturist and his wife are pregnant. And so she's from China, and they actually, her mother said, oh, it's very auspicious to have a baby in the dragon year. So a couple things. First of all, the rooster combines with the dragon. So if you have so if you have a rooster in your chart, you have a dragon in your chart, they're friends, they're hidden friends to each other. They combine to make metal. Again, what does metal mean to your day master? What does metal represent in your Bazi chart? That's the first thing. Second thing, that some people have said that, oh, because the rooster is the hidden friend of the dragon, the rooster's calling in the dragon. So that means this is like a preview of 2024. And I'm thinking, wait, it's September. Are they already calling in the wood dragon year? Because usually it doesn't happen like what was it last year? I think it was, let's see, the rabbit, it was the pig, or actually it was the dog, because the dog is in October called in the rabbit, because the dog is the hidden friend of the rabbit. And also in November is the pig, and the pig also combines with the rabbit. So that's where the chi came in more, especially. So I'm thinking, okay, well, wood dragon, and then I'm thinking, uh, but we're still in Gui Mao, water rabbit year. And it's a pure pillar of yin metal. Now, how does yin metal relate to wood dragon? Well, the dragon and the rooster, if you look at the earthly branch, they combine. But what about the heavenly stems? The heavenly stems are the metal is cutting the wood. So I'm not so sure that it's calling it in yet. However, you can start to plan for seeing what comes up this month, and seeing the opportunities and challenges you might be facing. But it is a wonderful month, especially for the dragon, because the dragon will get help from the rooster. But again, they combine to make metal. So again, here we go. Another, this is the Zin Yin metal rooster, okay? And again, we're comparing this now, this pillar with the Gui Mao rabbit year. Okay, so that's water, rabbit, water, and yin wood, yin water and yin wood. So we have yin metal and complete pure pillar of yin metal. So again, we've got this conflict of the rabbit and the rooster. And again, remember what I said, it's a year breaker month. So again, year breaker month brings conflict, it brings upheaval. And we're certainly going to see a lot more of that this month. Now, if you look at the combined, what did I say? Remember dragon. So especially if you have this pillar, okay, which is a yang fire dragon, and you can have that anywhere in your 4 pillars, whether it's the year, the month, the day, or the hour. They will especially feel uplifted this month. They will feel like the chi will come in to help them. Now, I didn't put the clash. Now, the clash would be, what would be the clash? It would be the wood rabbit, because what did I say? The yin metal clashes the wood. Okay, so we have yin metal here. This is the heavenly stem. Yin metal is cutting or clashing yin wood. And then we have here, right? We have the rabbit with the rooster. So again, anybody who has the yin wood rabbit in their chart, whether it's the year, month, day, or hour, they're going to definitely be more challenged. Okay, they're going to be unexpected changes. So look on your Bazi chart. By the way, I meant to mention, you can get your Bazi chart. You can go to ChineseMetasoft.com. You can go to joeyyap.com. And I still don't have my own program up yet, but that's down the line. But you can get your Bazi chart, and see, you also can look at your luck pillar as well. Okay, so what, there's always combinations, there's clashes, okay? The rooster, what does the rooster combine with? The rooster combines with the monkey and the dog. So we are in the metal season, as I said. The monkey was the growing chi of metal, okay? The rooster is the prospering chi. The dog is the declining chi. It's another way to put it, okay? Or we have another way to put it is this month is the height of the metal season. And again, not only the height of the metal season, it is yin, pure yin metal. So how will that affect you? Okay, and then the dog, and then this combines, right? It is the season of metal. So what is the what are the other animals that the rooster combines with? So it combines with the ox and the snake to make metal. And this is the three harmony trinity of metal. Again, we're seeing a lot of metal. So not only we have a pure pillar of metal, but you're seeing all these other animals that are combining to make metal. Again, what does metal mean in your Basi chart to your day master? And we're going to look at that as well. So do you have an ox in your chart? Do you have a snake in your chart? Do you have a monkey? Do you have a dog? Do you have a dragon? Okay. And as I'm said, so that every animal has a conflict or clash. There's a conflict with the rabbit. Now, some are saying, oh, it won't be as harmful because you've got the dragon, the dragon and the rabbit, they combine. Although the rabbit is an emotional harm to the dragon. They're part of the wood season. But I still think rabbits have to be more careful this year. Sorry, this month. Even though you are the Duke of the year, it's a Gui Mal rabbit year. You're the Duke of the year all year. And it's interesting because usually when they say you're the Duke of the year, okay, it's your year. Actually, it is not a good thing in Chinese metaphysics and Bazi. But this year it's unusual because it's actually the all eyes are on you, and the rabbit has so many good stars that it's actually quite a good year for the rabbit. Although for people who have a hard time with the limelight or having all, all eyes are focused on you. Now it depends upon where the rabbit is in your luck pillar. If it's the year, it's your social media, it's the outer world, it could be the company you work for. If it's oh, hi Wendy. If it's in the month, that has to do with your career. It's also your parents' palace. If in the day, the rabbit is that is your spouse palace, so that's more intimate relationships. It's also your health. By the way, I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk about health and what metal means in the 5-element theory. What you have to be careful of. So again, if you have the rabbit in your day, do take care of your health this month. In the hour, that is your inner dreams, your inner goals, your inner desires. That's your investment palace. So again, if you have the rabbit in the hour and it's investment palace, do be very careful of your investments. You definitely have to use timing. Okay, you have to be much more strategic this month. It also has to do with children. So perhaps your children might be going through some conflict, or there could be conflict between the parents and the children. The harm, it's a harm, it's a dog. What does a harm mean? It's it could be in a more emotional things that happen with the dog. So again, it depends upon where the dog is in your chart. If the dog is, again, if it's say it's in your day, it's your day pillar, and that's your spouse pal. So you just be more careful with what you say and how you say things this month in your more intimate, more close relationships. Try to listen more, try to hear the other person more. Destruction with the rat. What does destruction mean? Destruction means things break down. Things break down, break apart for breakthrough. And actually the horse is having that all year with the rabbit. But this month, it's how the rat is having it's the rooster with the rat, destruction. Also, the rat has had it's a year of, what did they say? How do I it's like sordid affairs, like the rat with the rooster, sorry, the rat with the rabbit can have, even though it's like they can have love relationships, but it can be like kinky affairs, sordid affairs. It could be somebody's pushing you in to do something sexually that you don't want to do. So remember, don't ever let anyone do anything that you don't want them to do. So where do you have a rabbit? Do you have a dog? Do you have a rat? Again, all these animals mean different things. So I wanted to put this up here because this is so important to always go back to the cosmic trinity. So in Chinese metaphysics, we believe three things affect us. Human's luck. That's your Bozzi chart. That's what I call your cosmic DNA. That's the moment you took your first breath, that when you decide to come into this world with the opportunities and challenges that await you. You decided this. This is how the planets were aligned. This is your family. This is your genetics. This is where you were born. Where were you born? Were you born in the mountains of Colorado? Were you born in India? Were you born in Malaysia, in Asia? Were you born, in the Northeast of the United States? So again, where were you born and what was the family that you chose to come into this life with? Then we have the earth. And so that's heaven's luck, earth's luck, and man's luck. In fact, I'll show you, this is also a good picture of what I'm talking about. So man's luck, what is man's luck? Okay, man's luck, and go back to this. That is what they call, I'm sorry, excuse me. It's earth luck, right? Earth luck, that's your environment. That's the resources around you you're given. So it's so important because feng shui is actually based 70% on the surrounding environment and how it affects your home or your office. Where do you live? Where do you work? What is the chi of the environment? And that's becoming more important in period 9. And if you were in my class that I did about Change Your Destiny, tap into period 9, special activation class, I was talking about how people are not working just from the office, just from home. They're working from all different places. So it's about tapping into the chi of the environment wherever you are. And this is also, let's say your luck pillar is not as, how I say, it could be clashing or it's more difficult for you. You always have, so that's heaven's luck. You always have earth's luck and man's luck. You can draw on the feng shui. You can work on your feng shui. You can change your feng shui and your free will. And then man's luck. So that's about your free will. And that's about, so doing the right thing at the right place at the right time. I also like to say this is about timing, and I can't stress how important timing is. And speaking about timing, I did want to share something with all of you, and I find it so interesting. Go here. Let's see. So yesterday, again, was the last day of the Yang Metal Monkey Month, and it was a success day. And now as I'm writing my post last night, I said, oh, we have another success day. Now this success day is even more auspicious in the Teng Shu than yesterday's success day. And I had originally scheduled this post for yesterday. But due to unforeseen circumstances, and I couldn't change an appointment with a client, that I had to do it today. And it's just, it just worked out so much better. It's not as hot. I mean, it was literally like 91 degrees. It was so hot yesterday. But again, it's about timing. So what is I'll read you the hexagram for today. It is great strength. It suggests that one needs to be strong even when you feel like giving up. I know this all too well. Create distance for now to give you better optics and clarity. The answer is in the unknown. I also said that's also period 9. It's to be comfortable with the unknown. However, even the powerful nourishing forces of nature can wreak havoc if they are excessive. Now, there's a great potential for a powerful and positive change, yet careful planning, hard work, and determination are the weapons you need to ensure the success of your efforts. So the reason I put this up here before we go into the Day Masters is because it's about aligning heaven's luck, earth's luck, and man's luck. And that's where the magic happens. So looking at the timing, choosing the time, and I can't look, it's like, look what happened this morning. I mean, it was not auspicious from 10:30 to 11. As soon as 11:01 came in, and things started working. I just find it interesting. I'm always amazed. So now we're going to look at the 10 Day Masters and how the yin metal rooster month affects each of your Day Masters. So where do you see your Day Master? Okay, that's right here. Okay, so that's in the day, and this is the stem, the heavenly stem in the day. This is your Day Master. This is one of the most important elements here because everything else in your Bazi chart depends on what your Day Master means. And then this, we look at what we call the 10 gods, or I like to call, excuse me, the 10 archetypes. Oh, I know. Before I go on to that, I did want to say one other thing about, I wanted to give you a little talk about the world energy and what I'm seeing in the world. So I mentioned about possibly pulling in the energy of the wood dragon, but I think it's actually more about pulling in the energy of period 9. Because if we look at the chart for which I don't have up here, it's the Bazi chart for the yin water rabbit year, Gui Mao rabbit year. The fire energy is quite predominant in 2023. So again, there's a couple of things that I was looking at what's happening the past month. Another thing, I have an article on my website called the Red Dragon Consulting Group, and it's what the water rabbit year has in store for all of us. And the reason I wrote that because no Chinese master, no Asian master predicted 2020 and what happened to the world. Did they say upheaval? Yes. Did they see change? Did they see downturn? Yes. But they did not predict that the whole world would be affected with a virus. Well, with this, what they tried to do. So another thing that they talked about, excuse me, let me go back. The only, I don't want to say person because it's not a person. It's the only, it was the only thing that predicted that could see this, it was the first page of the Tang Shu. And what did they say? One of the things they said, this is about dethroning of the giants. And the thing is that it predicted the 2020, what came in. And now I wrote an article about what we're seeing, or what is predicted for 2023. So you can see that article. But one of the things was predicted was the dethroning of the giants. Well, guess what happened? So the new Apple iPhone is coming out. I think it's coming out in a week, I believe. I know that they have their annual event. So I think it's called Huawei, I believe, is the company. I believe it's in China. So it's spelled Huwei. So guess what they've done? They've developed their own microchip. They've been developing their own iPhone for iPhone for over 3 years, developing their own microchip, and it is the first phone that will have a satellite to be available to the masses. Watch what happens to Apple. Do you think it'll be dethroned? Another thing that just recently happened, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks ago, which I didn't understand why everybody was posting, oh, be careful about eating sushi. And I'm like, why is everybody worried now? Because apparently there was a nuclear power plant. It cracked, and all the nuclear waste in Japan has now been it's been going into the sea. They've been dumping this nuclear waste into the sea. So if we look at it from an environmental point of view as well, that's, you know, that there's a lot of harm with that. Also, I had mentioned in my class about going in because there's a lot of the fire is the predominant energy this year, and now we're going into period 9. We're only 5 months away now from period 9 coming fully in February 4th, 2024. What is happening all over the world? Fires. I mean, look
Well,
at
it's interesting too, because you've got all the wood in the month and the year, and you've got all the fire in the hour and the day for the year. So it's like the fire's eating up the wood
that's true.
for the year, because the whole, if you look on a map, there's fires. The most is actually in Africa. It's everywhere around the world. So that's actually very interesting. So the fire is eating up the outer world, the wood of the outer world. That's interesting.
Yes, and again, I had dedicated a live sharing to the people in Hawaii. Is it Lahana? I guess that's how you pronounce it. In Maui, and what has happened to those people? It is horrific. The loss. It's a war zone, and my heart, my prayers go out to those people there. But you're seeing fires in Greece, fires in Canada, fires in Africa. But of course, the news, the media is not reporting this. Okay, so let's start with a 10-day masters. Now look at your chart and see, what's your day master. Now we're going to look at how the yin, the yin metal rooster affects each day master. So Jia Wood, they're the tree. They stand tall. The roots go deep in the ground. They're independent. They're steadfast, and they are determined. In fact, I was just giving a reading yesterday to a Jia Youngwood Daymaster. And so Jia Youngwood is facing direct officer. So you're just coming out of this 7 killings energy. So that was a very, very strong energy. And probably for Jia Youngwood, it was probably one of the most challenging months of the whole year. So, but now we're leaving that 7 killings going to direct officer. And this is about discipline. So direct officer 7 killings, we call this the influence star. But it's also direct officer is about discipline. Now, direct officer is more the diplomat, where 7 killings is more the sergeant out in the battlefield. So you may have felt like the sergeant the past month, Jia Youngwood people. But this month, it requires a high level of discipline. It's like the painstaking process of carving a wood. Like, when a person, let's say they go to it's like they're getting a tattoo, the tattoo process. So they have to be very, very precise. Like, remember, it's precision. Again, that's the key word for the yin metal rooster month. So when you have to be so precise and you're zooming in on something so precise, okay, it's like the acupuncture needle. It's like the surgeon with the knife. Okay. Yes. So it requires great discipline, but what happens is you can spend too much time on this one focus in your life that you neglect the whole entire picture. Okay, so look at what part of your life requires some intention. Set the rules. Just be more disciplined to help you with that. But it's a little bit more kinder energy. Okay, it's not as aggressive as that last month. Okay, let's look at the Yin Wood. Now, Yin Wood, they are they're the plant, the vine, and actually out of all the 10-day masters, they will do anything to survive. Because if you look at a vine growing up the tree, you look at the vine, the beautiful apartment buildings in Italy with the vines growing up. Okay, it will do anything to survive. And they're very flexible. They're not the Jia Youngwood, they're not as flexible. They tend to be more stubborn. And Yi and Wood, they're more flexible. and adaptable, charming, witty, but they, out of all the 10-day masters, will do anything to survive. So they have the 7 killings. So it's kind of like think of like the scissors going like this, and it's snipping the vine. Okay, so one cut, it's snipped. Let's see. So this could be, you might feel more aggressive this month. You might feel like fighting back this month. It could be a more painstaking process for you. However, the long-term, you can have long-term benefits. It's like, how do I explain this? Okay, let's say all the weeds are growing, right? You've got all these weeds in your garden. And so that's like a metaphor for what you have to clean up inside. So you take the scissors or your shears and you come along and you clip the weeds, you clip the weeds out, you clip them down. Okay, so that's kind of like a metaphor of what is happening to you this month. Look at your social circle, take more time to see who you're spending time with, who's uplifting you, and who's bringing you down. Okay, so let's look at Bing Yang Fire. Bing Yang Fire, they're the sun. They're the sun in the sky, and guess what? The sun doesn't need anything. The sun rises and sets and rises again the next day. So even if Bing Yang Fire, they've gone through difficulties and they feel like giving up, well, guess what? The sun's going to come up the next day. So the sun will rise. They're passionate, they're generous. So this month, they're seeing direct wealth. Last month, they were seeing indirect wealth. What is direct wealth? Direct wealth is money that you make from working. Indirect wealth is more investments. It could be gambling. You may have felt, if you were Bing Yang Fire, you could have gambled more. It is inheritance. It could be illegal means too, indirect wealth. But direct wealth is it's more money. It governs your overall productivity. Let's see. So get started with your projects early. So another thing I want to say, when the chi comes to you, depending upon what the chi represents to your day master, okay, if the chi is really beneficial to you and it's very helpful to you, you might feel like relaxing. Actually, it's the opposite. It's the time to grab hold of this chi. It's kind of like, the best way I could describe it, when you're in a Wi-Fi. When you're in a strong Wi-Fi, you get strong connection. It's kind of like the same thing, like the universe is giving you that strong connection. So get started with your projects early. Be a good example for others to follow. Exercise some patience, and and also create, like, let's see. Try not to be impatient this month. Try not to be impatient, because that can cause some issues between the metal and the fire, because you've got that conflict, right, of metal and fire. And I was talking about this actually in my class, because metal represents the banking industry, represents the governments, and the fire melts the metal. And another thing about metal, by the way, it's the only element that needs to be forged. So you need to take that clump of metal for yang metal and forge it into a beautiful sword, or you need to take that beautiful metal and unearth it from the earth, where you have these diamonds and gold and silver and palladium and platinum. So what is yin fire? So yin fire, they are Ding Yin Fire. They are the candle that illuminates people, especially the younger generation. Energetic, inspiring, and persuasive. So again, what is indirect wealth? It's again, remember, it needs to, the fire, how do I say this? Let's see. What I was just talking about, how the fire has to, it has to forge that metal into that beautiful Excalibur, forge it into that beautiful diamond, by the way. And by the way, speaking about diamonds, the yin metal rooster, day pillar, is very hard like a diamond. So again, it's beauty, it's brains, but it is tough. It is very tough. Again, but a different kind of toughness than the yang metal. So identify all the easy opportunities. So indirect wealth, they also say, again, it can come more easily to you, but you have to take quick action. Don't be greedy. Finish one item before trying to proceed on to the next. And again, be careful if you have the rabbit in your Bazi chart, anywhere in your Bazi chart, because for Ding Yin Fire, okay, because it might indirect wealth, but still, if you have investments, you just have to be more mindful. Okay, what is Wu Yang Earth? So they're the mountain. They're trustworthy. They're responsible. They're stable. They're the mountain. The mountain doesn't go anywhere. There's a saying. I think that Wu Yang Earth is the keeper of 10,000 secrets. So, herding officer. Let's see. What's herding officer is. It represents, it's very good for putting yourself out there. It's good for social media. They call herding officer often the diva. But if you are in social media, if you have to put yourself out there, this is very good for achieve for Wu Yang Earth. So Wu Yang Earth is usually more quiet because they're the mountain, okay, not moving, okay. But this is gonna like be a rumbling inside the mountain, inside Wu Earth for them. So just watch, like it's like watching a martial art practitioner or martial art, where they split the brick in half, like with one fell swoop. It's kind of like what's happening with the Wu Yang Earth this month. Okay, before making any promises or announcements, make sure you're able to deliver on them, because this is also affecting your reputation, because people are going to see what you're putting out there. So Ji Yin Earth, out of all the 10 day masters, they are the most giving. And what happens to Ji Yin Earth, that they give so much to their family, to their friends, to the downtrodden, that they then put themselves last. Don't put yourself last, Ji Yin Earth. They're seeing the eating God. What is the eating God? The eating God is the artist and the perfectionist. So a wonderful creative month. So what we call eating God and herding officer, they're the output elements. Okay, so it's a wonderful month to be creative. You can work on your projects. You can, how do I say, improve the quality of what you're doing. Also, another thing, I know about this very well because I have quite a bit of eating God in my chart. And so when I said they're the artists, they're not only the artists. If you have a high eating God as one of the 10 gods, the archetypes, they're a perfectionist. Like, it's never good enough. And I have to tell you, it's all in your head. Okay? So it's like you'll work on something, say, oh, the color's not right, the symbol's not right, the picture's not right. Okay, so again, be aware of time limitation, and things need to be out in the market to be useful. Okay, Gangyang Metal. So last month they saw the friend element. This month they're seeing the Rob Wealth element. So Rob Wealth. So the couple of things you can do with Rob Wealth. How do I say? Complete an area where you know your advantage and strength and live to fight another day. So Rob Wealth is, number one, you could be spending more money this month. I'm sorry. And number one, some unexpected expenses could come up for Gangyang Metal Day Masters. Another way I always tell Day Masters, when you see your Rob Wells star, what I suggest is you rob yourself. What do you mean I rob myself? That means, let's say you have $10 or you have $20 or whatever you can afford, and you take that and you put it in an investment. You know, whether it's the stocks, it's bonds, which I mean, I think gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies, but that's just my personal opinion. And put that in. Okay, so you're robbing yourself, you're investing yourself. So when the Rob Wealth leaves, okay, you've robbed yourself, but you've gained from it. Okay, does that make sense? And another way to deal with Rob Wealth, if you're in a 10-year luck cycle of Rob Wealth, also getting a partner, having a partner to share the wealth with, so the universe doesn't come along and rob you. Okay, next. So Xinian metal, they're seeing the friend element. Okay, so friends are going to come along. Now, Xinian metal, remember, they're refined, they're intelligent, they're attractive. And what did I say? The quickest way to a Xinian metal's heart, acknowledge them. It's not like they say, oh, look how great or how wonderful I am. Or, you know, look at me. No, it's they just need to be acknowledged. Okay, they're actually quite witty and they're quite and they're quite funny underneath. So they're going to see the friend element. So the friend element comes along. So seek association with like-minded people. However, it also, when friends come along, what do they want to do? Oh, they want to go out to eat. You know, let's go shopping. Let's go out to eat. Let's spend money. Okay, so just be mindful of what the friends around you that are coming to you want to do. Also, it might be a time, and one of the metaphors for metal element is letting go. So if there's friends that are not supporting you to your best self, right, to rise in a higher state of consciousness, because that's going to become more and more important as we go into period 9, you might want to look at that. Okay, Ren Yang Water Day Master, they're the ocean. They're adventurous, they're proactive, they're ambitious, and they're often very, what's the word I want? Restless, quite restless. They're always on the move, like water. They will take form wherever they go. So you're seeing the direct resource. So this is a very good time to learn, to study. But another thing about metal is metal needs water to shine. Okay, so actually the water is going to help the yin metal.
My friend did great.
So it's like washing and polishing that gemstone. And again, what did I mention? Look what happened with the potential of the nuclear reactor, where the core need to be submerged in water for its full potential to be used. Okay, but don't stay too long submerged in that water because it's not healthy for you. So again, this is a very good month for Ren Yang Water to go deep into study, so when you're going into a subject that will, so education, learning, knowledge, you know, knowledge is power. It really is. That's also a new currency as well as we go into period 9. Indirect resource, that's our last day master, Gui Yin Water. They're the cloud, they're elusive, they're wise, they're intuitive, but they are very changeable. And sometimes you don't know from one day to the next what the Gui Yin Water is going to do. Okay, so they have the indirect resource, and the indirect resource element, that is thinking outside the box. So direct resource is more thinking inside the box. Indirect resources you'll be more attracted to spirituality, to metaphysics, to learning new things, like a curiosity and an intuition will come to you. You feel like a child discovering the world for the first time. So let your hair down, explore a little, And also, another thing so important about period 9 is what does your heart say? Follow your heart, not your head. Okay, that is rational. Follow your heart, follow your soul. What is your soul's calling? And I say this to all of us. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about the elements as far as from a Chinese medicine perspective, what is the element metal represents, what is the metaphor, what are we looking at? So the element is metal, and the organ systems are the lung, the large intestine, and the skin. So the taste is pungent and spicy. That helps to move the qi of the lungs. So let's say you have a cold, ginger tea can be very good for expectorating the mucus because the lungs, they don't like to get too moist. Also, you can have a dry cough actually as well. And then you would use, say, more like mint and honey. Mint is cooling because it can get too much heat. And then honey, which is lubricating. But pungent and spicy, they help to move the lung and large intestine. Now the emotions are grief and sadness. And another, I think, what was the word I was thinking about? Melancholy. Okay, people might feel more melancholy this month. So metal is it's contracting energy. It's energy that's going inward. People, even though there's so much volatility in the world, there is a sense of like going inward and a sense perhaps of melancholy this month. Let that come. If sadness comes, let it come up. If you feel like crying, cry. Okay, because another thing that's also very important is the ability to let go. And oftentimes people who have a lot of metal in their chart or yang or yin metal day masters sometimes might have a hard time letting go. And that can certainly happen to all of us. But the lung and large intestine, so the lung takes in oxygen and expels carbon dioxide. It's a storehouse of fluid for the entire body. It's called the Wei Qi. So when you think of the lungs, it's kind of like an immunity qi. It's like what protects us from the outside. Now the large intestine, it's having a bowel movement every day. It absorbs water, changes waste from liquid into stools, regular bowel movement. So again, that's the metaphor. So if a person has more constipation, okay, that's a metaphor for, again, maybe they have a harder time letting go. But again, that's some of the themes when you look at it from the Chinese medicine perspective and the 5 elements. Okay, so let's take a look at the flying star chart for the month, and then okay, so this, let's see, hold on a second. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so let's start with the West right here. Why are we starting with the West? Because that is where the rooster lives. The rooster's home palace is in the West. And also, as we go through this chart, there is also, you have your Gua number. Everybody has a Gua number, and every Gua number has a home palace. Okay, so a home palace goes like this. So we have 5 here, but so it depends. If you're a 5 and you're a male, you are a 2 Gua number. If you are a female, you are an 8 Gua number. So then we go 6. So the home palace of Gua 6 is Northwest, and they're definitely being challenged this year. Let's see, Gua 7 is West. Let's do this right. 7. 8 is Northeast. 9 is the South. 1 is the North. 2 is the Southwest. 3 home palace is the East, and 4 is the Southwest. So that's the Gua. That's your home palace. So now the Qi of the month, the Qi of the year, and the Qi of the month are coming in. Okay, so let's look. So we have the 6 and the 3 here. And that's visiting by, we have the wood energy of the 3, and then the annual energy of the 6. So the annual's here, and then this is the, so the 3 is wood. We have metal cutting wood. So it's the image of the axe trying to cut down the tree, but it is dealing with the resistance of the entire process. So this is like a classic study in the older son trying to take reign from the father. So again, it could be more fighting energy here. So again, not the most peaceful sector, okay, at all for this month. So if you prefer peace, I advise not to be in the sector. If you want to fight, then you can go to that sector. And when I'm talking about going in the sector, okay, and you're looking at this flying star chart, okay, another thing very important is where do you put yourself? Where you're putting yourself in an area of your home or your office that provides you the best G, the best Wi-Fi that you can connect with. So the Northwest. So here we are with the Northwest. So this year, the annual star is the 5. And the 5 is called the Emperor Star. You know, you have to be very advanced in knowing how to use the Emperor Star because it can bring great wealth. If you are not advanced in using this, it can bring great calamity on all different levels of your life, from your health to your wealth to your relationships. Okay, so it can be loss of wealth. It could be huge health problems. And also the way, and one of the ways that you activate this energy is by digging, by groundbreaking, by renovating. In fact, I just had a client past couple of months I've been doing a big project with, and where were they renovating? They were renovating right in the Northwest. So what he was doing is he was rebuilding his office, and he stripped down, took the entire barn down. That was the office on top, but rebuilt it. But the lucky thing is he hadn't moved in yet. So luckily, even though it was a Northwest sector of his property, he hasn't physically moved back in that. So it has not been as harmful. And of course, I tried to help him and do cures. So another, we use metal. Metal drains earth. So we want to put heavy metal in the Northwest. But definitely this month, we're seeing the 5 and the 2. Okay, so the 2 is considered the illness star. Now, the illness star, because we're leaving period 8. So 8 is almost the chi of 8. Okay, is no longer the present wealth star very soon. 9 actually, 9 will become the present wealth star. 9, 1, and 2. So 2 is now losing its negative aspect of the illness star, gaining its positive aspect of the real estate star, of a property star. However, this combination is a deadly combination. So I don't recommend the Northwest to be in anybody, preferably not to be in the Northwest this month, okay? Because it's a combination, a harbinger of sickness and destruction. So the North here, we have the 9 and the 6 here. So again, that's metal. And the original place is of the North sector is 1. And so the 9 and 1 are what Hetu combination of 10, which is always is good for wealth. That's the annual energy. So North has been one of the best sectors all year. So the North, the South, and the Southwest, those are like my favorite sectors this year. Again, the 9-6 is the classic combination of a leader's position. But sometimes the leader's position has been exposed too much, and it's not good, especially in our battlefield of life today. You don't want to see too much of what you're exposing. So there could be more exposure than what's happening out in the battlefield of leaders are coming out and what's happening. Okay, so the Northeast has a 7-4. And again, this is more of an attacking energy because 7 is metal and 4 is wood. So we got metal attacking wood again. Although, again, it's, and the annual metal is preventing the process of, how do I say, of this creation happening. So this is also about refining your communication. This is also, the 7 is associated with a spirituality star, but it's also, they call it the robbery star. So I always say, clients for the Northeast this year, don't keep your safe in the Northeast. Don't keep your jewelry in the Northeast. Don't keep your cash register in the Northeast, okay? Because it is known as the robbery star, especially when the chi, volatile chi, comes in for that month. This is also known as the talking with a sharp tongue, which, who needs a sharp talk with a sharp tongue? Lawyers. Yep, they need to talk with a sharp tongue. And you know that lawyers, they get paid, whether you win or lose, they get paid to go into court. Doesn't matter. So they're always winning in a sense. Okay, then we go to the east and we have a nice combination of the 8 and the 2. And that is a He-2 combination of 10. Again, when the 2 numbers combine to make the 10, then that has to do with wealth. Okay, but 8, what is 8? However, because the present wealth star and the chi is already waning, it means that you do this same, let's see, you do the same, how do I say, you do more work for the same amount of money. Okay, but it's still, it is the present, the wealth star will come into the east. So for Gua number 3s, and actually 2, for Gua number 3, there's also another way to look at, can break down the numbers into the 10 gods as well. The 2 for the 3 is a wealth star. So actually 3 Gua numbers should see an increase in their wealth sometime throughout this year. But it also has to do with proper usage of resources at the person's disposal right now. So again, it's also good for saving money or investing wisely. So now we go to the southeast, which I love. Okay, the southeast has a 3-9 combination. So 3 is wood, 9 is fire. Wood produces fire. And again, 9 is a growing energy. It's becoming a very beautiful energy. And we're looking, when you're looking at your flying star chart of your home, you know, people goes, oh my God, flying stars, it's a period 9's coming in, I have to change my home. No, you just use the energy differently. Now we're going to look for star 9. So it's this governs vision and the ability to see clearly ahead. So it's very good for strategic planning and launching a long-term campaign. This is also, 9 is associated with fame and reputation. So again, 3 is about, how do I say, work. So this combination is about an ideal combination. For working hard, this is good for publicity and reputation. And I definitely love the southeast this month. Okay, the 8 and 5. So we have the 8 is the annual star, the 5 is visiting the south this month. And so the 5 is earth, the 8 is earth. So things can, and it's in the fire. If the south is associated with the fire element, so it's like earth, that like it's an untimely star, and it tends to be negative. So it could be more, how do I say? It's like the volcano that can't erupt. Like things get stuck because, you know, when Earth can't move, it's like stuck energy. So it's like a typical teenager child throwing a tantrum and protesting. So I would just, not the best energy or sector to be in this month. So then we go to the southwest, and that's the 1 and 7. Remember, I said, what is a 7? That's the star, robbery star, and 1. Now that is associated with the nobleman star. And that's the beauty of the southwest this year overall. Now the 1's moving into the the center. I didn't put that. So this is actually from Kevin Chan, that I took this card from. And the 1 and the 4 is in the center, and that's a beautiful energy here in the center. If you took my class, you would know a lot about what that means. Okay, so let's see, the 1 and the 7. This is also good, by the way, this can be good for communication and beneficial, like as a public speaker, as a politician, as a singer, so that they would gain a greater audience this month. Okay, so let me just go one more thing. Let's talk about the, let's see, center here. 1 second. I want to talk about. So this beautiful energy here. Okay, so there's the 4, which is, imagine the 4 in the center, that's the yearly energy, and then the 1 is visiting here. So we have the 1 and the 4 in the center. So the 1 star, because it's associated with the North, governs wealth. It's also a nobleman star. It's associated with intelligence, innovation, status. Again, it depends upon whether it's a facing or sitting star, but when the 4 and the 1 combine, okay, you've got this beautiful energy of new beginnings, of intelligence, of knowledge, of romance, of creativity. So I love the center this month. So at all costs, I would definitely avoid the Northwest sector. So, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for your precious time. I know your time is very valuable, and I didn't intend to go so long. This is my new website I'm very, very excited about, called the Red Dragon Consulting Group. And I have many different options on my website. And you can get a consultation, a feng shui audit, a Bazi consultation. I have a couple of videos that are on there. So introduction to Bazi. There's a video on the 10 Gauze. There's a video on how you can see a person's Bazi chart and their health. So I go deeply into each organ system, and I go into persons, like how you can see the health of the overall chart. And then I also put up subscription page. So there's a basic subscription. There's a more, so I go over the day master, and I analyze the interactions and influences of the current month on your day master, looking at your entire chart to help you through that month. Then I also, for there's a more advanced subscription where I combine not only the day master, but I combine the flying stars. We look at the chart of your home. And I also, you will get a personal calendar detailed just for you of that month. And we look at the most auspicious days, etc. Now I am giving a 15% discount on all of my services till the end of September. You put in the code Metal Season 891. Okay, I guess that ends. So, thank you so much for your precious time. Thank you for joining. Another thing I want to remind you all is to love each other, take care of each other, and support each other, because we need that more than anything in our world today. I know, Sasha, I know a lot of with pure, sorry, I couldn't see the chat when we're Purigan, a tough woman, a rooster rabbit, rooster lady, that's true. So do you have any questions at all? And Fran, thanks for your patience. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions at all?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. So thank you so much again for your time and thank you for your patience. Thank you, Janika, for joining me. Thank you, Biva, for joining me. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, Fran. And for all the people who couldn't get on but will hear me later, thank you so much. And may you have, let's see, may the truth unfold and may you find your heart's purpose and follow your soul this month. In this very volatile month of the Yin Metal Rooster with the Year Breaker month. Okay. Much love. Thank you so much for joining. Take care.